Hello everyone. I had a request about talking about glue books. Wanted to know the basic concept of glue books. And what kind of books to use and what it is and how to go about doing it. So this is a basic glue book video, I guess. I do have issues with my camera. I can only make an 18-minute video, so I'm going to get as far as I can, and I might have to do a part 2, but just so you know. So a glue book, and this is the first glue book that I've ever done. There is a video with a flip through on this one, so I won't really flip through it this time. A glue book is just a place to glue pictures in. That's all it is. You can glue pictures, you can glue tickets, anything that can be glued down. Packaging or labels or you name it. If it can be glued down, you can put it in a glue book. There is no rules for glue books. You can glue in words. You can glue in numbers. Anything that you find interesting. There's no limit to what you can put into a glue book. It's anything. It's everything. So this differs from an art journal, as you're not painting, you're not doing all that kind of stuff. All you're doing is gluing in stuff to your book. So the first thing you want to do is find a book. This one is a blank book that I got from Borders, and I had taken some pages out of it, but I didn't take enough pages out of it, so it's buckling a little bit. And with a binding like this, it's starting to come apart a little bit. It's hurting. And I still have more stuff to put in it. So you can use a book like this and take pages out, and I will show you how to do that. You can use Shannon Green for her glue book used a Moleskine like this one. Hers is bigger. These are sewn in pages, so they take a lot of weight. They take a lot of abuse, and they can take in add-ins. And I will describe that later. But so this is a single signature, basically, and it will hold a lot of stuff. It'll buckle, but it will get really big. They do come in bigger sizes. Like I said, I think the one that Shannon Green uses is the size of a composition book. You can even use a composition book. There's another video the lady does, I think her name is Christine. She does a wonderful glue book with a lot of white space. I'm so jealous the way she can do white space. Hers is called Wanderlust, and I will link that video below because it's a great example of how to put everything in your book. And she also shows, I think she does a tutorial on one of the pages. But anyway, composition books, Moleskines, blank book of any type. This one is, I have no idea where I got it. The pages are sewn in, so I can show how to take some of the pages out of this one. I have not done that yet. This is a book that I got at the dollar store. Again, it has too many pages for what you want. It will buckle if you put too much stuff in there. So I can pull some pages out of that. You can use a spiral bound book. This one is a brown paper one. the spiral rounds will expand a little bit so that you wouldn't have to really do a whole lot with them. And if you had too many pages, you can just tear some pages out. It's easy to tear these pages out. So, I mean, you can use anything like that. This is a blank book that I have taken pages out, and this is going to be my next glue book. I started adding some, well, I haven't added them, collecting pictures for it so far. All I've done really so far is to take out pages. I like sewn books, and you can tell they're sewn when you can see the threads like this. You can see that. If you flip through the books, you find the middle of the signature. And I've taken quite a few pages out of this because I don't want it to buckle. You find the middle of the signature. That's not the middle. But when you do come across the middle, you'll find threads. So this one also is a sewn. And you see there's no threads there. There's no threads there. And no threads there. Eventually we'll come across threads. So here's thread. So you can see that it's a sewn in binding. Now I like these because the binding, glue bindings will, sometimes they want to come out. They come unglued, or they just unhinge themselves. This is a glue binding. So, I mean, they're not as secure as a sewn binding. And then this one is, again, is the same one as this one. It just hasn't started yet. I have taken pages out, and as you can tell, I take out quite a few pages. I believe this one had, this has quite a few signatures, and I don't remember how many pages were in each signature. A signature is a grouping of pages, and you can see how the pages are folded together. I can show you better on this one. So this is just a candy box book that I put together. Now a signature is a grouping of pages that you put together. So you get your pages, you've got pages, and you fold them into a signature. So that is one signature. And what you want to do with a sewn signature, and we'll do this one. You want to find the middle of the signature, and that is where you see the threads. So this is the middle of the signature. Here's the threads. And so this is a page, because it is one piece of paper that's folded and sewn in. And so this is the second page in that signature. This is the third. And this is the fourth. So there's 4 pages to each of these signatures. And there's quite a few signatures in here. So what I would do is go to the middle of the signature of one that's sewn in. And usually I use a ruler, but I don't see one handy. Here's one. All right, so take a ruler and just put it right there in the spine and start ripping that page out. Now, you've just ripped half the page out, so you want to rip the other page out, which will just come out because it was the other half of that piece of paper. You don't want to take too much out because that will weaken those threads. This had 4 pages per signature, and I would take out 2 of the 4. I would take out half. You're putting in a lot of pictures, you're gluing in a lot of stuff, you're going to need some space. So I would do another one, and I like to do the ones right in the middle. They're easiest to pull out the second page, and do it carefully. And then I would go to the next signature. So it should be 4 pages in, which it is. So here's the 4 pages for the second signature, and the other 4 pages for that next signature. And what I would do is, again, just rip out those pages. And I would do this also for any kind of art journaling or whatever. It gives you some space to add paint and all that other stuff. So, and that's what I would do throughout the whole book. And that would thin it down enough to add stuff so that it's not buckling and falling apart. So that is that one. For a glued page, I would just tear out random pages. Every other one, however you want to do it. It does kind of help to put a ruler there, so it has something to tear against. Okay, this one doesn't want to come out. This is probably a very cheaply made, here we do it that way. Very cheaply made book. Oh, I was ripping out 2. No wonder I was having trouble. So, and I would take that out. Now that looks like that is done with signatures as well. Maybe it is sewn in. Let's see what the center of that signature looks like. Because you will have pages falling out if you tear. Yeah, it is sewn in. What do you know? So I need to find the other halves of those pages, because they will fall out because there's nothing holding them in. It was back here somewhere, wasn't it? But for regularly glued in pages, just rip them out. Just rip out some pages. These are really thin pages. I don't know if I want to use something like this. And I can't find them, so I have pages that are going to fall out eventually. So anyway, choose your book and make sure that you've got enough space to grow, basically. You want a lot of space to be able to put all kinds of stuff in there. And the next thing is start collecting pictures. I go through magazines and I do a lot of stuff. I do art journaling and collage. I make artist books. I do faces. I make little mini books. I collect everything. There's not much left of a magazine, no matter what it is, when I'm done with it. What I do is I'll get a magazine that I'm done with and I'm ready to rip apart, and I will either take out the whole page if it's a large photo, or I will hack out bits and pieces to cut down later. And I throw everything in a shoebox. Now, I have about 4 shoe boxes. I've got a lot of stuff that I go through every once in a while. And I collect everything. I like to collect colors. I like to collect textures. I like pictures that just catch my eye. And I will just rip out things and throw them in this box. And then when I have time, or when I'm looking for something, I will go back and start choosing stuff. Sometimes there's no reason for me to save something. This one was left over from something else that I was using, and I thought that that was kind of interesting. I thought I might use it somewhere, so I put it in the box. So all this is random I mean, there is no rhyme or reason. It caught my eye. It went in the box. This is a piece of printed paper. There's a ton of different stuff in here. There's a label from iced tea. Words. I collect numbers. I collect, there's more iced tea labels. I collect faces. I collect people for paper dolls. I like animals. I like, I had cut something else out and I turned it over and saw that and I thought I might use that on something. I save everything. And then I go back and decide, this is a piece of wrapping paper, I think. Here's a Post-it note. I kind of liked that little guy. I'm going to use him in something. I will go back and look at these pictures and pull out things that I want to use and trim around them nicely before I start gluing them in. I mean, there's just, everything. Anything, everything. That was from a beer holder, the 6-pack. I liked him, so here he is. And here's some more beer holders. I collect everything. There is no, if it was interesting at all to me, I clipped it out. I like catalogs. I like magazines. I like, there's a magazine that I have that is just a regional thing that tells me what's going on around town. Love that. There's a publication that my grocery store produces that has recipes in it, articles about food and things like that. I always take one of those. They've got some interesting things in. Some quotes that were printed out. Pieces of book pages. I mean, just everything. Eventually I'll go through and I will put something in organized stuff. I'll put some stuff in envelopes or whatever. So I am at my almost 18-minute mark. So this camera is going to shut off. So I'm going to have to make a part 2. So this is a book about, or a video, the glue books. Just pick a book, any book. You can use anything. And start gathering your pictures. And we'll have a part 2 on how to start putting stuff together. So thanks for watching.